TPE 2023 at the Jake Wyatt Cigar Company booth with Mr. Neil Garcia.
Yes, pleasure.
I almost said your last name first, brother.
It's okay.
Well, you know, hey, as long as somebody recognizes it one way or the other, right?
It happens to me every day because of our cigar, actually.
I can well imagine. So with that in mind, give me the background on the company.
Yeah, so speaking of, so Jake Wyatt was named after my son, Jake.
Oh!
And my original partner's son, Wyatt. So we named it after our boys. So many people call me Jake all the time as well, thinking it's named after myself. But anyhow, it's named after our son. Launched this is going into our 5th year. 7th year in inception, and building our brands out for about a couple years, and launched at our first show about just before COVID.
Oh, wow, what timing.
Yeah, no kidding. So what transpired with me was we got in a position to, I was a ball player for years. And,
you were?
Yeah, baseball. I played baseball for a long time. We had 22 count boxes. My brother played, I play. Now my son plays. We all wore jersey 22. So that's my son's contribution to the company, as well as his namesake for sure.
That is interesting.
So,
what team?
I played with Detroit Tigers, Cleveland Indians, and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. So
and I should have made that plural because I know a lot of guys jump.
Oh yeah. No, I came up with Detroit Tigers way back when. I'm old now, but that's back when Sparky Anderson was still the manager many years ago. So,
brother, you're not old. It's just a number.
Yeah, exactly.
And a few scars.
Yeah,
as you can tell.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So speaking of, so at the tail end of my baseball career, I was a catcher, and I caught all the bullpens for the pitchers, which we couldn't stand because they play every 5 days and make all the freaking money, and I caught every one of their damn bullpens. But they played a hell of a lot of golf and smoked a lot of fine Cuban cigars. That's what got me started way back when.
Really? What age?
I was probably in my mid-20s, just before I turned 30, so that age.
Yeah.
Then we'd come home in the off-season, and we at the local cigar shop where we became our hangout, playing cards, watching sports, hanging with the guys, having a cigar, and that became a normal regimen on a regular basis.
Yeah.
My buddies who owned the shop, his old man had a family business. They had 4 stores in the Orange County, California area. He passed away fairly suddenly. And I had some marketing background. I did a lot of real estate stuff when I was done playing, and I helped them to build out a website. And in building out that website, I learned a hell of a lot about the cigars. But 2,500 SKUs. You learn descriptions, flavors, wrappers, all that kind of stuff.
You're immersed.
Oh God. And that's how it all started, and we ended up going down to the Dominican Republic to do an exclusive blend with one of our young companies. And it was very difficult because my son, Jake, at that time was starting to play a lot of ball. I coached everything, and I wasn't going to miss a day of that for nothing. It was the best days of my life, without a doubt. That being said, we ended up down there on a red eye on a Friday. On a Sunday, and as long as I got back Friday, because I had to coach the weekend, I finally agreed to go. We ended up down at the La Aurora factory in the DR, the Dominican Republic in Tamboril, and their master blender, who became a mentor and a dear friend, his name's Manuel Inoa. Been at it for 50 years. We got out to that beautiful, beautiful factory. We sat in their conference room, gave us a cigar. He travels all over the world doing a lot of seminars, tobacconist type of education. And he walked through his seminar that he just, his deck, his presentation, over a cigar, and he said, "You mind if we go through?" I said, "Let's do it."
And this is the factory, right?
This is at the factory.
Yeah.
Their beautiful conference room. He handed us a cigar, and he went through everything from seed to shelf. And most of us around here, we work from shelf and kind of work backwards.
Right.
And learning about the tobaccos, the plant, the soils, the pure grades, the levels of the Viso, Ligeros, obviously the Secos down at the bottom, what goes into making these cigars. And this was like, wow. And after building out those sites, learning about all the back end of cigars, this was like the genesis of it, if you will.
The foundation.
Absolutely.
I bet your head was spinning,
brother.
And
it was like, so that started this whole journey.
Yeah.
Started this company for no other reason than a passion project. That was it.
Yeah.
Had no clue. My favorite saying these days is you gain knowledge through experience, wisdom through bad experience.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea. We made a great cigar, and as you can see in our cigars, I took down the factory shortly thereafter. We do a lot of our own accents on our cigars.
Wait, stand by.
Yeah.
You said you took down the factory?
Yeah, I went and invested in a factory. We visited a bunch of probably 8 to 12 different factories that you can go down. They can make you a cigar.
Right.
It just didn't feel right. It wasn't right. So if I was going to go at this, we took down a small factory, which then became our master blender, who's a partner with me in my factory now. And we were going to do it from soup to nuts, again, as a passion project.
Right.
No idea, no desire to go build a great brand or anything along those lines. We started it. And one of our original rollers had been doing a lot of artisanal cigars, which I'll show you when we get off this interview. Just amazing stuff that they could create. It's almost like a tattoo artist on an actual, it's beautiful stuff.
I've seen some things like that. Yeah, yeah.
He knew I was a ball player, and he did this one with a big baseball bat and all these, barber poles, and it was amazing. So this is possible.
Yeah.
So we incorporated it into our original design, not too fancy, so sometimes you don't even want to smoke them, they're too beautiful.
Yeah, it's like artwork.
Exactly.
Well, hell, a good cigar is like artwork anyhow.
100%.
Yeah. So, okay, so getting back to the whole taking down the factory, so you had a small factory that you were running, and then you, in essence, closed it.
Well, we expanded it. So we did it, ended up at our first trade show, and in so doing, we got in a position to where...
Do you need to jump?
No.
Okay, just wanted to cover it.
Yeah. Oh, no, we got in a position to where we had to make a decision. Going to the first trade show, we were engulfed by a lot of people that were very interested in the cigar because of its appeal, because of its appearance, and then they smoked it and they really enjoyed the cigar. Well, naive as I was, I had no idea that it was vitally important to have representation in the territories that you want to move cigars. I had no clue.
Yeah.
So we had a great influx initially, and man, that put me in a position to where, okay, if we're going to do this, then we had, at that time, it was about a 3,000 square foot factory making 500 to 1,000 cigars a day, nothing more, and it was great.
Kind of modest, but
Very
still
modest.
good flow.
Yeah.
So
then we had, after that show and seeing the demand that were created, I said, okay, well then I'm going all in. We took down a 20,000 square foot factory, which was not an overnight matter, and a lot of the legal and bureaucracy down in the Dominican is a chore.
I can imagine. I'll just call it a nightmare for you, since you probably don't want to say it.
Yeah. So I went through the legalities of that, getting in with the government, all that kind of stuff, got it squared away, and ended up launching our factory. Now we have, I don't know, maybe 35, 36 employees down there, a bunch of pairs and rollers going through it. We're pumping out a decent amount of cigars and begin to really build this out. At this time, my son finally went away to school, college, and again, as I mentioned, I was coaching everything with the kids and travel teams and a lot of the boys that became super close to me. Now that he was at school, over the last 2 years, I've just gone even gung-ho into this, which is an avocation. It's so much fun. Meeting great people, sitting down and having a cigar. It cuts through everything. You sit with all walks of life, whatever political view or sports view or whatever.
Cigars break. Cigars have a tendency, not always, a tendency to break politics, have a tendency to break religion, have a tendency to break even adversarial, I'm talking hard,
for sure.
adversarial situations.
We did a really bitchin' event out in Minnesota, and they have their two guys, which I don't really give a crap politically, but one was the head of the Democratic policy makers in the state, and the other was a Republican. But the common denominator was they were both trying to fight to make sure that cigars would continue to be the mainstay. Everyone came together to make it happen. We had this beautiful event. It was called Cigars and Baseball, actually. Hell of an event out there, and it was really a treat. So anyway, we did that. We launched our first line, which is the Gourmet Collection, which is made up of our Ecuadorian Connecticut. And this is a beautiful cigar. This middle one is our limited edition. Comes in a Robusto, Corona Gorda, Toro, Bellicoso.
Limited edition on all sizes, correct?
Limited edition is this guy here, which is our Figurado.
With a little spiral,
Yes, and that's a beautiful cigar. And we have one of those that's for each one of our Gourmet Collection, which is 5 lines.
Okay.
This was our original blend, which is called the Fourth Dimension. Habano Rosado, Candela accents, Dominican Allure binders, super smooth, elegant stick. Everything we make is very flavor forward. Our Herbert Spencer's, our San Andreas Maduro, that's our #1 top selling SKU. San Andreas is an unbelievably popular wrapper right now, and it just has great flavor, semi-sweet chocolate, and again, smoothness and a lot of beautiful spice to it. It's excellent. And I mean, going through all of our collection, this Candela has been something that's been a beautiful project, because it took us about almost a year to work on this blend. The leaf is an extremely young unfermented leaf, so it's got a lot of grass hay notes to it naturally. So we tried to extract as much of that out, because it isn't necessarily the most proud, or proud's not the right word, but a very sought after tasting profile for a lot of cigars. It was the wrapper back in the 50s. The Claro wrapper was so important. So we extracted that out, and now it has a sweet, matcha chai type flavor notes with a lot of sweet cream to it. It's been great. USIR has been outstanding as well, and that is very interesting blend. Our most difficult cigar to make by far from a blend perspective, but it turned out exactly what we were looking for. And we have so many blends at the factory. Only 8 have made it to our line. To get through our committee is a challenge to do.
Okay.
So we probably have at least 50, 60 blends in the works, and only 8 that have been released. That makes up the gourmet collection. Come right over here. And this is our connoisseur collection. Our connoisseur collection is vastly different than the gourmet collection. This is our latest blend. So I'm smoking right now. It's called the Jake Wyatt Icarus. The Jake Wyatt Icarus is San Andreas Dominican Olor binder. It's got Pennsylvania Criollo Piloto in the filler, and it's got a half a leaf of Tennessee Fire Cured in the filler that just gives it a touch of mesquite, especially through the retrohale.
A half a leaf.
And it's made. It was a fun project. It's a whole nother story. We don't got time to get into. Another time we will. But it's turned out great for us. We released that this year, and it's just done outstanding. Again, 22 count boxes. We're really keen on, as you can see with our box vistas, just trying to do what we can to add value back to our retailers and the customers, to give them, a full understanding array of what is detailed in our cigars.
And reducing that footprint on their counters, because that's so important for them.
100%.
Yeah.
So our JW Maverick is our boldest cigar, full body, full strength, but again, we make a very flavor forward cigar, so the essence of what we do is about flavor. And finally, down here at the bottom is our lithium. That has a hybrid tobacco called T13 out of the Dominican Republic. It's super complex, a lot of citrus and a lot of spice in that cigar, and we made that specifically for the retrohale, and that's been a hell of a stick for us.
Is that the most recent release?
The most recent release is the Icarus.
Okay.
This was the first release of the Connoisseur collection. The Maverick was the second, and the Icarus just this past December was our third of that. And we'll have probably 2 more that we'll be releasing shortly, depending on what of the 56 blends are going to make it to that mark.
Now, how many people are on your committee?
There's 6 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, and all of us have different, we've all been at it for a long time. We all have very similar palates and understanding what we're trying to create and make. And the whole name of the game is just the creative aspect of everything we do. It makes it a hell of a lot of fun to find something that's different and new and creative with a lot of the similar tobaccos that we're all blending with. It's the art of it. It's the fun of it. And, whether
It makes it a challenge.
Very much.
Not to cap too much on the challenge name.
Yeah. And then we always do something nice too for all of our customers. So this is our Corona Gorda sampler. It has 1 of each of our gourmet collection. The Connecticut, which is the appendix to the 4th Dimension Habano, Herbert Spencer, which is our San Andreas, Lucid Interval, which is the Candela, and our USIR, which is a Habano Escudo wrapper. And this is just a beautiful package. It comes in a pack of 5, easy to grab. Very decent price point. It's like $62 retail.
And nice to display too.
And beautiful display.
Yeah. Hell, nice display back at the office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the Reader's Digest version, or the long version, whatever way you want to talk about it, of a little bit about Jake Wyatt Cigars.
Yeah.
It's again, as I mentioned, it's a passion project, a heck of a lot of fun, and we look forward to making and creating some more art for all of our folks and fans to continue to enjoy as we move forward. It's
Very good, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, internal question. Favorite adult beverage?
Cigar-wise, I'm a big sparkling water guy, believe it or not.
Yeah? No, hey, no worries. It could be anything. Brother, if you like gutter water from Puerto Rico, that's okay as long as it works for you.
Absolutely. And then with this Candela, I smoke one of these every morning when I go through my emails, and I have my Americano along with this. So coffee and this...
Matches well with the coffee.
It's unbelievable.
And you do Americano as a coffee. I like espresso personally.
Yeah, I just give a little water on it, but I do like espressos.
Yeah. Okay.
And all these cigars, they do a lot of pairings with a lot of bourbons and scotches all over the place. So a lot of guys really enjoy that.
Very good. Now, just a little bit of a pop-off when we first met.
Sure.
You were asking me questions about me, blah, 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 through Banks. Well, as if anybody cares, and I just said it again.
Right.
But you were at Chacho last week. Great show.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah. We'll
Really
talk
good
about that in
times.
just a little bit. Other than that, travel well. Your lovely wife was very, very kind
Thank
and
you for
very,
that.
very
Appreciate
considerate
that.
for introducing us. I know
Absolutely.
you were stacked up. Everybody's stacked up.
Yeah, yeah,
And we've
yeah.
got, what, 20 minutes left,
Yeah, it's winding
supposedly?
down pretty quick, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to barricade the doors, though, and we're not going to let anybody out.
There you go.
Okay. Neil, travel well. All
Always
the best
pleasure.
for you and your family.
You got it, my friend. Thank